It's an interesting thing whenever I am going around and checking the shops at night, I find myself in need of a bed. And, back in the day, we used to actually have a rule that if you had a shop, it had to have a bed in it. And we haven't had that rule this season. And to be fair, we haven't really needed it very much. Did I put a bed back here? No, I had that back here. The fact of the matter is everything's pretty well lit up. I mean, aside from the phantoms, which we clearly are not necessarily dealing with at the moment, we don't really have much of an issue. Maybe we need to set up something of like a bed station in every single district. That could be something. I mean, I am city manager. I probably should be getting onto this. I'm not necessarily complaining per se, but I am acknowledging some of the shortcomings that we have here. At the same time, yeah, that's definitely on me. It is definitely my job. So I should probably do something about that. I like the idea of a rest station, if you will. Like none of my builds, right? Because I used to have a bed right there. Okay. The sad thing is I actually do know where there's a bed. It's right behind me. It's in Will's. I just wanted to see if I had one, and I don't think I do. So we're just going to use Will's. Will is like the only one of us that's actually keeping things like legit, keeping, doing the right things, doing the good things of making sure there's a bed, making sure there's an inner chest, and making sure that we can like shop at his store without, any inconvenience. And perhaps the rest of us, me, should do the same. Anyway. Okay. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome back. We are here on FANCRAFT. I am, as you can see, currently in the Tolga Town after being in Star Wars District. And today we are heading back to the Harry Potter district, but not before checking this out. Look at that. Okay. Somebody whose name rhymes with box and is a fox has been working hard on the big team build. Now, we've gathered the resources a while back. We did a little bit of work helping to place some blocks, and I've actually been suggesting to the team that we need to have like a barn raising of sorts to get this build together. But my goodness, Fox has been at it, or at least I'm pretty sure it's Fox that's been doing this. After all, this is kind of, he's been spearheading this project. He's got a very specific design and it looks incredible. And yeah, this is exciting. I'm so glad to see this popping up right here. This has been a long time coming. And it's looking really, really great. We might need to reach out to Fox and see how we can encourage him / help as this is something we've wanted to see for a while. Ooh, actually, ever since we determined that the time temple would go in its current location, I've wondered what it would look like from my base. Okay. Yeah. I guess, all right, so obviously that's not the top. I think there's like some spikes somewhere or something like that. I'm actually not sure how it's going to go, but so it will be creeping up over the trees over there. I like it. I really like this idea of having kind of the big team build as a neighbor that's just kind of like looming over the base here. I really, even with the lore office right there, it's kind of nice to start feeling that sense of surrounding while you're down here. I think it works out really well. But as I say, today we are going back to the Harry Potter district so that we can get some work done here on a new build. Now, as we've talked about before, there's been some great terrain laid out here behind Diagon Alley so that we could start working on the Hogsmeade area. And I'm excited to kind of break forth on my first ever build in Hogsmeade. And it's in the plot that you see right behind me. And as the sign, spoils, it's Honeydukes. Of course, I realized whenever I do these videos, I'm like, oh, guess what I'm about to build? And I mean, it's in the thumbnail. You always know what I'm about to build. But what's worth pointing out is the backs of these buildings have been filled in. And, there's nothing quite nice about them. I did get a little creative and put a little owl egg on the back of the owl shop. But regardless, I mean, there's not a whole lot going on there. And as you can see with the Honeydukes build popping up, I don't know exactly how much of the backs of these buildings you're really going to see anyway. I guess you'll see this from an angle. But, who knows / cares? It just needs to feel full. And I'm just glad that we don't have all of that junk that we were seeing before behind these. I mean, just to remind you, okay? Just to remind you, every single episode, somebody's first episode, it's all a mess back there. This whole thing is a mess. And it's a great mess on the inside, but not exactly the best thing to look at on the outside. That's neither here nor there because, of course, today we're working on Honeydukes. Honeydukes is the sweets and candy shop or whatnot that is in the Hogsmeade area. It's got kind of like an old school type of look to it. I really like the palette that you see, right? Like it's got this kind of, earthy tones of the building, but then it's got all of these kind of accents with the greens and the pinks and a very unique look, and something that is going to be a lot of fun, not just to build on the outside, but also to figure out on the inside. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure that we're going to get to the inside today. My guess is this will be the outside of the building. Like this might be a 2-part video type situation for a number of reasons, not the least of which is I have just gotten back from a week-long vacation. So even this video is coming out a lot later than I had intended to. And I want to kind of get something out, and I want to get the first exterior build done. And the exterior build is designed for the most part. There's some tweaks that I have a feeling, much like the wand shop, will have to go through some iterations. But I do think that we have got something that's going to work really, really well. But for the interior, still trying to think through it. I'm also trying to think through what exactly I'm going to sell. I mean, I've got some ideas. Enough set up. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let's see how far we get with Honeydukes. All right, so admittedly, I did not get very far before I realized I have a problem. Okay, so as you can see, I started laying this thing out with a bit of a pattern where we have kind of the tuffed bricks mixed with the stone bricks, mixed with the mud bricks. And the mindset here is that I really want there to be a little bit of like a mixture of these blocks all together. But as I've laid them out here, I'm not sure I really love the transition from one to the other. So I'm kind of thinking instead of this, all right, so this is one thing, right? Like transitioning from one brick to the next brick to the next brick. But this isn't really about, I don't know. I mean, like it's not a very clear color transition there. So I don't know that that necessarily works. So I'm wondering about maybe doing some blotchiness to this, where there's almost like, we do something like dun, 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 dun. And then maybe like something where we kind of give it not necessarily a full border, but something like that, maybe something a little bit more like that. And then we kind of splotch it around a little bit. I don't know. Like when it all comes down to it, ironically, like most of this wall is actually gonna be taken out and have all these different, details and windows and everything else put on it. So admittedly, I don't think you're going to just see a ton of this kind of thing, but I can't really tell what I like better. Or even if I like this at all. Maybe I don't like this at all. That's a possibility. And then I suppose I could do like the totally at random thing, right? Like just boom, 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 boom. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and do something like that. That might not look terrible. Again, given the fact that large sections of this is going to be removed, that might actually work. Okay, you know what? I do think maybe I should just put the detailing in first and then go back and see if any texturing is needed. I thought this would be a better method, but in practice, I don't think that actually makes sense. So yeah, let's put the detailing in and then we'll come back and take a look. All right, so I definitely did some of the details, as you can see, and this is great. But then I realized something. I hate this location. Yeah, I don't think this is the best location for Honeydukes. And, it's fine. It's fine. But I think we can do better. In fact, I thought so much that we could do better. I went ahead and just started building in the other location. I know this is... And you can also see I've already started building with that kind of scrambled build palette. And I mean, you can already tell how much better that looks than kind of the gradient that I was going with right here. If you can even call that a gradient. But one way or the other, I really like that. I think that works so much better. And this location in general, I dig it. I think this is good. It's kind of when you first come into the Hogsmeade area, it's like up on the hill and will look really nice. I'm going to kind of carry on that same detailing of the pink and the green and everything. That's going to have some kind of representation on this side. And then just ignore all of the copper being aged right now. This is going to go away. But regardless, the idea is we're going to have a little path that's going to leave up that hill, and that'll bring you into Honeydukes. It's going to have a nice little winding path or something of that nature that's going to bring us to the door. I don't quite know how that's going to look and feel, but I will figure it out, and it'll make a whole lot of sense. Now, let's talk about this detail. I dare say one of the best things about Honeydukes is kind of that pop of pink mixed in with that green. And here, I think we've got something really special coming together. I mean, okay, it's a little blue-green, but I also think that works too. Now, we're obviously not done, but you can kind of start to see the shape coming together for the build. It's going to be like a bit of a house, kind of similar to that, except obviously very different shape. But it's going to have, you know, the house roof with some, you know, chimneys on either side, and it's going to be great. There's going to be a window right here. I might put 1 or 2 windows also kind of at various portions of the roof as well. But regardless, it's coming together and it's starting to look good. And it's way better over there than it was ever going to be over here. So this is no longer the Honeydukes location. I need to take all this down, which is good because this will probably also give me the materials, which means I won't need all this aged copper unless I do, in which case I'll have it. So that's always a plus. All right, let's finish this thing up and take a look and see what it looks like. I cannot tell you how long it has taken me to get to this moment. All right, weeks. It's been weeks. And a large part of that was because realms were down for several days. But you know what? It's fine. I got back on the FANCRAFT realm. I've added land that wasn't here before. I did a little terraforming to try to make this a little bit evener. And more importantly, I finished Honeydukes. Yeah. Oh, man. Okay, so I am... This has been a very interesting build. I feel like it's gone through a couple of different iterations even as I was working on it, especially with the detailing. I decided whilst I was working on it that I wanted to kind of let that pink pop out a little bit more. And so I made kind of this area extend out further than I had initially intended. And frankly, I'm actually not entirely sure if I'm going to keep it like that. Like now that I see it as I'm kind of showcasing it, it's making me a little nervous. So I don't know. I might not keep it like that. I think it looks really good. I love the palette of the green and the pink together. We've added kind of some windows off to the side, a few little barrels. There'll probably be more of that just from some detailing and that sort of thing. You've got a nice giant window at the top. You got some little tiny windows up there. And of course, you got the double chimneys on either side. Loving, by the way, having all the various chimneys with these Harry Potter builds. I think it really... it adds some character to just the overall district. Now, as I mentioned before, we're not doing a full interior, but as you can see, I've done some work in here as well, and I'm thinking it's looking pretty nice. Yeah, this is looking really great. It does have an upstairs, although I doubt we'll actually use it for anything. That being said, it did occur to me that, you know, with this being something of a shop, and, you know, it being Honeydukes, wouldn't it make sense for us to actually sell honey in here? I mean, like, you know, I was thinking, like, what can we sell that was, like, sweets? Because, of course, obviously, Honeydukes, you got the various treats and goodies and all that kind of good stuff that would be available in Hogsmeade at Honeydukes. But honey's sweet. And so I think that could possibly work. So this might end up actually becoming a honey shop. And I think that'd be great. And I may end up putting something of the honey farm in the actual attic, because with my base right now, okay, so I've had to actually dismantle my entire system. Like almost every single farm in my base no longer works. And so, yeah, with that in mind, I'm having to kind of rethink some things, and putting my honey farm up in the attic of Honeydukes might make a lot of sense. But yeah, what do you think? Do you like this? Is it wrong? It could be wrong. Like, should that be out? Should that be in? It just seems like an odd choice all around. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you think would work a lot better than what I've got going on here. Or if it's like the greatest thing you've ever seen, put that in the comments too. I love that positive feedback. And speaking about positive feedback, look at this. The time temple is definitely popping off here. Okay, Fox and the gang have actually just all been on doing like a big team build project on this. And I really wanted to catch them at the tail end. And unfortunately, it's just been busy. Oh my gosh, y'all. It's been busy. I've been so busy, it's crazy. But anyway, this is looking insane, and it's looking really, really good. But that is going to do it for this week. Did you enjoy our Honeydukes build? Do you have suggestions on how we can improve it? I would absolutely love to know. Be sure to put it in the comments. Until next time, everybody, goodbye.